Hello, my name is Georgianne Ford with the Alpha Center for Divorce Mediation. And today I have one of our attorney mediators returning to us, Christine Lombardo-Zaun. And Christine is going to talk to us, great topic, hopefully, because we've got to see some positives sometimes. And she's going to talk to us about some of the benefits, some of the silver lining, sometimes for people after a divorce, using some of her own reflection, which I think is pretty neat.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think with the news and everything that's going on, it's sort of negative out there. And I really try to maintain a positive outlook. And so I was reading just a little article the other day, and it was called The Upside of Divorce. And I literally started laughing because I was like, is there really an upside to divorce? But then I kind of stopped and thought about it and was like, no, really, there are some silver linings that we can pull from our experiences. And so I thought this might be a good topic to talk about, because if people are thinking about going through divorce, they tend to, get swallowed up in the negative cesspool. And that can kind of just bring you down really quickly. And so I want people to maybe think about this before they're going through it or as they're going through it, with the hope that maybe it'll help somebody get through it a little bit easier.
Wonderful. Please share.
So I wrote down a couple of things that I thought, okay, what were some of the big rocks, some of the big positives that came out of my divorce? Because divorce is horrible. It's brutal. It's relentless. It beats you down to an all-time low. That's true. But for me, it helped me prioritize my life. And,
In what ways, Christine?
Well, so when you're in a marriage, you can get very lost in giving yourself up to other people. And if you've done as much reading as I have, I mean, you'll know that to have a healthy marriage, you should support your spouse, obviously, and build them up, but you should also take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And for me, I lost sight of myself. I didn't make myself a priority. And so when I got divorced, I had to sort of reprioritize my world and put me first, but put some other things first, like my job. Because, I was now working for me. I didn't have a second income to support me or back me up should anything bad happen. So kind of helped me refocus and prioritizing time with my kids to make each minute count. So it wasn't about the quantity of time that I had with my kids. It was about the quality. And, so I had like a couple hours to see them, here and there. What could I do to make the time valuable? And doing that, we ended up I have a better relationship with my kids. And I actually feel more comfortable in my own shoes because my priorities are a little bit more aligned the way I want them to be.
And when did you feel like you started to feel that way after divorce, so that anybody who's listening isn't thinking, sure, I'm going to feel this way one day?
Well, I think it differs for everybody, but for me, it probably took, I would say, a year since I had moved out. But prior to that, I was the person who initiated the divorce. So I kind of spent time dealing with the loss of the marriage prior to me even starting the conversation. So everybody's different. But, being a couple years out now, I don't know how to explain it. There's just this overwhelming peace. And, there's no arguing. There's no tension. There's no stress. The stresses that I have are normal everyday stresses. The ones you can handle.
That was not only just getting your priorities right, which I love that. I'll go back to something you said earlier, but the peace that you're talking about, I mean, that's really something that we don't have going through a divorce, for sure.
There are so many people I know that aren't living in peace, and you can't put a price tag on that. And so for me, unfortunately, and I think for my ex, I think he has a sense of peace as well.
Sure, makes sense.
I don't think either of us wanted a divorce, but it was like neither of us were really happy either. So I think once you get through all the hurt, it's like, yeah, you know what? We're both in a better place.
So what else? So you pray, what, keep going. I don't want to.
Well, I wrote that it changes you as a person. Now, I have to put a caveat because people don't really change. So I think my core is still the same, but it changes you in the sense that you have to jump out of your comfort zone. You might have to try new things. You might lose some friends, but looking at the silver lining, you might make some new friends. You might have to go to a gym and work out as opposed to working out in your home when you were married. And getting your car fixed, you might have to go to a new mechanic, and, all these new people coming in and out of your life, not necessarily a bad thing.
And to be able to take this and turn it around as different, as a positive, and there to be opportunity there to build new relationships is absolutely awesome to hear that from you. It gives us all hope.
Well, and a lot of people say they lose friends when they go through a divorce. And I've been fortunate. I haven't really had that happen. But the way I look at it, whenever you lose a friend, I feel that people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And that's not my saying. But if you look at it that way and you lose a friend, or, somebody's not in your life anymore, don't be resentful. Look at it as they were there for either a reason or a season, and you took out of it what you had to, and now it's time to move on and, share yourself with other people.
Right. That's on. I'm sitting here thinking with what you're saying is you had to have really got some major coping skills through this.
Well, what I wrote was divorce forces you to do a lot of things. And it's, it's a survival skill at some points. There were a lot of lonely moments when I first moved out. I was on my own, and, I moved into an apartment. So there were all kinds of new noises and things that were, not scary, but just unsettling. And so I had a lot of quiet time. And so what I had to do was I dug deep and just kind of focused on my gratitude and was like, okay, what am I thankful for? And, I put in here, it forces you to become more grateful and appreciative, but simply like looking at a sunset and just stopping and watching the sunset. It just brings a sense of peace, a sense of calmness, and it kind of helps you get through tough moments. And so I did that quite a bit. I have a zillion pictures of sunsets on my phone. And then I even started taking pictures of flowers. Like for me, that was just looking at the vibrant color of a flower was very calming to me. And I would just stop though, and I'd force myself to look at it and just be grateful that I have that moment to just take it all in.
Well, these are such insights, such reflections that we would never hear if we were seeing you for a divorce mediation. So it's so valuable to get to know you as a person, because that's kind of what's happening here.
Yeah. There's only so many ways to bake a cake, and so I thought I would just kind of open myself up a little bit and share, nobody wants to get divorced. It is horrible. But there's some situations where it's inevitable. And if that's going to be the case, then try and find the silver lining.
Great ending. I'm going to stop right there because I can't even say anything after that. Christine, thanks for sharing with us and giving us that hope as we go through divorces and divorce mediation. And please, any of you out there that are listening and considering a divorce mediation, please reach out, 1-800-310-9085, Alpha Center for Divorce Mediation.